This is how Ayat 10 from Surah Al-A'la looks in the Medina Mushaf with the riwayah of Hafs an Asim. This is also the same ayah from another Mushaf, also with the riwayah of Hafs an Asim. The thing is, there is a Shaddah there, but here there isn't. Now, considering that Shaddah is a duplication of a letter, it would be fair to ask if there is something missing here or something is added there. How is there a difference? And does it affect what it sounds like? Well, the answer to these questions lies within the concept of idgham and properly understanding it. You see, idgham or letter assimilation happens when nun sakina or tanween is followed by one of these letters. They form the mnemonic yarmalun. But this isn't everything there is to know about idgham. There's actually 3 distinctions to be made: full idgham and partial idgham. And full idgham is either with ghunnah or without ghunnah. Partial idgham is only with ghunnah. Let's look at the full idgham to see how it is related to the main question of this lesson. The full idgham with ghunnah occurs when nun sakina is followed by nun or mim, like mim mithli man nazzal. So we fully assimilate the nun and we elongate the ghunnah, specifically the ghunnah of the mim here and the nun there. Remember, with full idgham, the nun is completely absent. But there is also another type of full idgham which is without ghunnah, and it occurs when nun sakina is followed by the letter lam or the letter ra, like min ladun min rabbik. Now, pay attention to this. Notice how all these words following the nun sakina having shaddah on their first letter. This shaddah is actually telling you that the letter nun is fully and completely dropped or not pronounced at all because of idgham. And in its place, we pronounce the letter after it, duplicated, to make up for the dropped nun and take its place. Mim mithli man nazzal min ladun min rabbik. So the nun is completely dropped and we move directly to the letter after it. So the ghunnah we hear in these examples is not the ghunnah of the nun sakina, but rather the ghunnah of the mim and the nun that follows. And now, by checking the other mushaf, we see that the shaddah is also indicated in the exact same places. Conclusion: shaddah refers to full idgham of nun, no matter which mushaf you use. However, when we move to partial idgham, things get a little more interesting. You see, when nun sakina or tanween is followed by waw or ya, they trigger a partial idgham. Miwaq man ya'mal. You can notice right away that there is no shaddah on the top of the letters ya or waw. But looking at the other mushaf, this isn't the case. So why? And do we have to pronounce it differently? Well, let's start with the more important question. Are they both pronounced the same? And the simple answer is yes. There is zero difference between them. So then why? Why is there a difference in how they are written? Well, when it comes to idgham, Arabic mushafs use shaddah to only indicate full idgham. Or in other words, when nun is 100% gone, not even its ghunnah remains. But with partial idgham, shaddah is not used because not all of the nun is gone since its ghunnah still remains. That's why we pronounced waw and ya here with the ghunnah. Miwaq man ya'mal. So we pronounce the waw with a nasal sound and the ya with a nasal sound. This nasal sound is coming from the noon sakina. Unlike the case of full idgham with ghunna, the ghunna is not coming from the noon, but it is coming from the letter itself because it happens to be noon and mim, which originally have a ghunna. And so the shaddah functions as a way to distinguish between these two cases. But at the end of the day, we pronounce both of them with duplication, even when it is not explicitly indicated in the Mushaf in the case of partial idgham. Now, in the Urdu Mushaf, while these and many other similar examples are cases of partial idgham with the exact same pronunciation, the rasm in the case of the Urdu Mushaf explicitly indicates the shaddah for a very specific reason, which is to emphasize the existence of the rule of idgham, albeit being partial, so that the reader can easily recognize it and apply it. And with the target audience in mind, who are mostly non-Arabic speakers, including such a little detail can make it much easier for them to recite without mistakes. And this isn't particularly the only case that is different from Arabic Mushafs. The addition of the letter noon indicating iltiqa'u sakinain in Urdu Mushafs is another example, which is not found in any Arabic Mushaf. That is also why some letters in Arabic Mushafs are written without diacritics, and the same letters and the same words are given tashkil, just to clear any confusion that may come to the reader. So, full idgham with or without ghunna will always be indicated with a shaddah, no matter where you look. But partial idgham is indicated with no shaddah in Arabic Mushafs and with a shaddah in Urdu Mushafs to make it easier to recognize this Tajweed rule. If you're thinking about switching from Urdu Mushaf to an Arabic one or vice versa, and you want to know how or where to start, let me know in the comments and I'll inshallah make a video listing all the differences to help you understand these rasm differences. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my latest books with their video courses if you want to learn the Quran in Arabic or properly learn its Tajweed. Check out the links in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, inshallah.